Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching The Breakfast Show, and in this segment of our program we will talk about a tourism competition campaign launched by the Ministries of Tourism and the Ministry of Immigration, and it aims at promoting for Egyptian tourism in Europe. And now we are joined over the phone by Dr. Yahia Abdel. He is a tourism expert. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, yes, Dr. Yahia, as I've just mentioned that a promotional campaigns to Egypt to support the Egyptian tourism will be launched soon. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, actually, Ambassador and Minister Makram, Minister of Immigration, she's conducting a vigorous campaign to promote travel to Egypt jointly with the Ministry of Tourism. That's why she is launching the initiative. Two initiatives, actually. The first one is to speak Arabic.
Yes.
And the other one is Exceptional Egypt. And this is an association with Miss Polney, a leading figure studying Arabic, Middle Eastern culture.
Yes.
And is targeting like Poland. And a participant will come to Poland, and the winner will have a 3-night vacation, like a round trip to Egypt. So this is one of the, like vehicles and media.
Yes.
The Ministry of Tourism associated with immigration will restore, like international inflows back to Egypt.
Yes, Dr. Yahia, how does the Speak Arabic initiative also can spread through the European countries and boost touristic activities?
Well, Dr. Makram, like 3 times a year, like in the winter, the spring, and as well as the summer and the fall, she conducts conventions and meetings, and she invites, like Egyptian immigrants, like living in Australia and Canada and USA and UK and Europe to come with the families. So these are called the routes, like journeys and voyages. So they come back to recognize Egypt again and meet relatives and ancestors and hold weddings. So she is doing really a vigorous campaign to bring, like the second and third generation, so they will know about our culture, about history, archaeology, and pick up Arabic language and habits and traditions as well again.
Yes. Do you think that these campaigns can bear fruit in the near future, and we can recognize an increase in the number of European tourists to Egypt?
Yes, Dr. Makram, jointly with Minister of Tourism and Culture, like she's been doing this over years now. And we have, like one in the major conventions, we have entrepreneurs coming from Europe, from Australia, from Canada. We have educators, we have scientists, and all of them really contribute to the development of our culture and science and education, business and technology in Egypt.
Yes. Also, in the past 2 days, there were some meetings held by Prime Minister and top officials from the Ministry of Tourism to prepare for the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. Can you tell us more about these preparations?
Well, actually, His Excellency Prime Minister Madbouli and Dr. Kader, they held conference recently because, like the work, like the grand work in the Grand Egyptian Museum will be, like in September, inshallah. It will be available to display all the, over like 20,000 of the artifacts, like at the museum. And I feel that is going to be like the grand opening will be on November 4th. Which commemorates the centennial of the King Tut, like discovering tomb in November 4, 1922 by Howard.
Yes. So, sir, also if we talk about Egypt's participation in different international tourism exhibitions to promote for Arab tourism in general, especially that we are approaching, we are already started the summer season. So, can you tell us about Egypt's participation in Dubai tourism exhibition?
Well, actually, last week, Mr. Amr Qadi, chairman of the Egyptian Tourist Authority, he attended with Governor Khalid Foda of Southern Sinai, and, and a crew, like of our tour operators, airlines, and we can hear from Egypt, the Arab travel market, which is one of the leading travel markets worldwide.
Yes.
Mr. Amr, he met, like tour operators and corporations of airlines and cruises, and we made contacts and deals. And we expect this year, inshallah, the summer season will be an eventful one. Will be a campaign conducted by the Ministry of Tourism, Sunny Egypt, as well as major European travel groups from Switzerland, from Germany, Italy, UK, Austria, and Spain are resuming direct flights to Kader, Sharm el-Sheikh, Marsa Alam, Luxor, Aswan, and North Coast.
Yes, also Egypt is preparing itself to host an international conference in Sharm el-Sheikh in November, COP27. How do you see the importance of these conferences as a promotion for Egypt, for Egyptian resorts abroad, as we all know that it is one of the important conferences expected to take place later in the year?
Indeed, like last week, His Excellency, the Foreign Affairs Minister of Egypt, he was in Copenhagen in Denmark, and he met, the leading authorities, the Prime Minister, in preparation for this international conference, yes, which the whole world is united, and working hard to make it a success because of the risks, and challenges we meet on daily and annual basis, from floods and change in temperatures and earthquakes and overflooding. So, and high temperature would hurt, crops, and low temperature as well. So, yes, these fluctuations is going to be handled in Sharm el-Sheikh in November, inshallah. And the whole world expects, great recommendations and actions to, to make our planet, a safer and a more productive place for us.
Yes, also, Dr. Yahia, how do you evaluate the government and the ministries of tourism efforts to support the tourism sector and mitigate the repercussions of successive global crises that have negatively affected tourism inflows into the country, especially the Russian-Ukrainian crisis?
Well, actually, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities have been very successful because, 2 years ago, when
yes,
we've been faced with the epidemic of the corona, they stuck to the regulations of the WHO and the ICAO, the IATA. That's why we were one of the earliest countries to operate our resorts and the Red Sea resorts. And the Secretary General, of the World Tourism Organization, yes, Mr. Shkavelli, came to Egypt twice, and he loaded, the enterprise, and the policy and strategy of the Ministry of Tourism. It was one of the early countries in the world, to open its doors to international travel in a safe and sanitized way. And again, we built up on this. We restored Russian travel, Ukrainian, which makes up 35 of the travel market to Egypt. But, with the fluctuations that's happening, after Corona and conflict in Europe. So the ministry, Mr. Amr made a statement yesterday that in 2019 we received 13 million visitors, and they are working hard this year to meet these figures, inshallah, to reach 13 million visitors in 2022.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Also, sir, this takes us to the point of the importance of seeking alternative markets and attracting various segments of tourists in line with the comprehensive tourism development process adopted by the state in the past years, especially after this Ukrainian-Russian crisis. There is an importance and an urgency to seek new markets. What your comment? Yes.
Well, the ministry really is applying a vigorous strategy. Number one, you have to offer new services and enterprises. Yes. That's why, we have a multitude, of resorts, North Coast. The Ministry of Transportation is providing, first-class transportation using electric trains and hydrogen fuels. So to make it, to link between, for example, El Sokhna up to all the way to Marsa Matruh, So this is one thing. And then we have resorts building around the clock, and we have more night cruises, and we have the administrative capital, which have some of the leading, resorts for accommodation and tourist facilities. So all these plans will attract more visitors, and the government is vigorous to invite, like sporting events, like international conferences like the COP27. So all this adds up, and then we have more airlines coming to Egypt, like charters coming from Turkey, come from Cyprus.
Yes.
This week, more charters coming from Italy, directed to Burj Al Arab and to Luxor, Aswan, and Sharm el Sheikh. So the strategy of the Ministry of Tourism and Archaeology, Antiquities is working, doing well. And look, inshallah, this year we have two major events. The first one is the King Tut Centennial, which is going to be great celebrations. I met officials last week from the Ministry of Tourism, and they're making plans. And again, we have the grand opening, inshallah, this year of the Grand Egyptian Museum. And this is an international icon, and the whole world, is expecting, this event to take place so they can enjoy, the unique architects, and artifacts and collection. Some of it is going to be, displayed for the first time.
Yes.
So this is an international event that the whole world is anticipating, inshallah.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Yahia Kader, tourism expert. Thank you for being with us. And we are all looking forward to the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of The Breakfast Show. Thank you for watching.